Bonjour, Kinamagan in Ireland edition and welcome to today's math enrichment lesson. Today's episode, the area of a triangle. We'll begin at our website of mathisfun.com because you know it is. No, I am not a paid sponsor. I just like to use this site because it's useful. We want to talk about how to find the area of a triangle. You're familiar with finding the area of a rectangle or square where you multiply base times height, or you might call it length times width. But a triangle is really kind of a half of a rectangle. So what we get here is we're going to multiply 1/2 times base times height. The base being denoted with a B and the H denotes the height. So we would be able to actually take and do math problems with this. If my base was 10 and my height was 10, 10 times 10 is 100. But then we multiply it by a half. It's kind of like dividing by 2, and we'd end up with an area of 50 square units. So we have an example problem here. What is the area of a triangle? They've given the height. Notice that it is not a measure of this side. Height often will be drawn like with dots going up. Let's get my annotation tool to kind of and not do the same color. They'll quite often have their 12 right here so that you're understanding that this is the height. But or sometimes you'll have it going this way. Clear that out. So we'd multiply 12 times 20, which is 240, times 1/2, which is 120. Could you go ahead and go 20 times half of 20 times 12? Sure. Because of the commutative property, it's up to you which order you go in. There are other ways to find the area that are beyond what you need to do in 5th grade. Yeah. And probably more collegiate in nature. So let's go to a new share to our whiteboard. Let's call it meters. So again, what's our formula? Area equals 1/2 base times height. So that's going to be 1/2 times, and sometimes you can do times with a dot like this. It's no different than using an X. The base was 8, and 8 meters and 6 meters. So now I have 1/2 times 8 times 6, which is 1/2 times 48, and meters times meters is meter squared. And so half of 48 is 24 meters squared. If you wonder how you get the meter squared, it's because this is 2-dimensional. This way is 1 dimension. This way is 2 dimensions. We don't have a 3rd dimension, so like we would have done with the cubic figures. We're just here. And really, you might also note that this is 8 times meter times 6 times meter. That's how meter times meter is meter squared. But you generally don't have to say a whole lot about that. Let's give you another problem. There's my 4. What is the area of this figure? I'll give you a moment to figure that out, maybe 45 seconds. Let's put it at inches, by the way. It's a small one. All right, let's see what we had here. So remember, our area is 1/2 base times height. My base is 8 inches. My height is 4 inches. And it's half of that. So this is going to be half of 32 inches squared. So 8 times 4 is 32, which means it's 16 inches squared. Notice that I measured the height right here. And what's kind of cool, and when we talked about being kind of a half a rectangle, it's not perfect with my drawing, but this area in the red would be the exact same measurement totals as the area here. Because again, a triangle is a half of a rectangle, and it's how we get 1/2 times base times height. At this point, you're going to get a chance to practice some using your Google form in the Google Classroom or the worksheet in the class. If you have further questions about this topic, please reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net. Otherwise, have a minogijagad, minwa, pamapi.